A man died whom I'd had no interaction with, and I'm completely devastated. My wife and I frequent a local hole-in-the-wall Irish pub. One of the other regulars was Kevin, a gender non-conforming man, probably in his 60s. He had a long, gray beard and always wore a bright-colored skirt and high heels. I never spoke or otherwise interacted with him, but his distinctive look ensured I noticed whenever we were there at the same time. My wife was having a couple drinks there with her sister earlier this afternoon and learned that Kevin had died over the weekend of a brain aneurysm. He hadn't been found until his employer called in a wellness check after he didn't show up on Monday. He had no family he was in contact with, and he hasn't even had an obituary published. His true family was the staff and fellow regulars at the pub, but they have no legal right to claim the body for a funeral. It's a gut punch to me knowing that this man was isolated just because he decided to live his own truth, and his found family, the ones who truly cared about him, are so limited in what they can provide. Hold a memorial for Kevin. You can do this at the pub and make a special empty seat for the guest of honor. Tell stories of what and how you remember him and just honor his memory. My condolences. By sharing this bit, you're doing your part in keeping his memory alive. He was lucky to have the pub and its patrons. I'm sure it gave him comfort. I'm sorry for your loss. Being a regular and not seeing them there is upsetting whether you knew them well or not. Regulars are the spirit. Cheers to Kevin. I can't deny my feelings anymore. I'm 23F. I haven't had a boyfriend, crush, or anything like that. I'm not here for advice on that, but I just want to ramble. For the longest time I've come up with all sorts of things to cope with that. Reading fanfiction. Saying all sorts like, I don't need a boyfriend. I'll be pure forever. This is so cringe and I don't think this way anymore, but it's what I was thinking. ECT. Last night I was watching some romance anime, and I had to be honest with myself. I don't want to be single forever. I want to be held. Kissed. I want intimacy with a man that loves me and I him. I hate that I feel ashamed of myself for admitting that I've always wanted this. All along I was coping. I was jealous of my friends for getting romantic attention, and I didn't know it. I guess I still have some inner work to do, because why should I feel ashamed? It's perfectly normal to want love. I guess purity culture has me feeling bad or something. Not only do I want a boyfriend, I really want to do stuff. Adult stuff. I can't deny what I'm feeling anymore. I just wanted to get it off my chest and out of my head. Glad you're coming to terms with how you feel. My advice is to have some standards for people when you go looking though. If you let them treat you like shit, then some will. Yeah, it's totally natural. Just feel whatever you feel and don't be ashamed or embarrassed by it. Really dig into why you feel the ways you do though. It's an infinitely deep well to go down. You'll be fine. Purity culture? Is your family religious or something? Dude, there's nothing wrong with the way you feel. It's totally normal and human. It's good that you're embracing it and having real reflection on it. I hope things go well for you. I carried my poop from one toilet to another. I need to tell someone this story I've never told a soul, and it's driving me crazy. Anyway, here we go. I, 25M, met Hannah, 26F. When we were both 19, we were dating for 3 months before the worst day of my life happened. We were getting ready to take a shower, and I had to poop. I couldn't just hold it in, so I told her to get in, and I'd join in a minute. Her toilet is in smaller room within her bathroom, so I didn't feel weird about doing my business while she was also in the bathroom. She was in the shower, and I was using the toilet, and had just finished, but to my horror when I went to flush, the handle was broken. I was staring at my poop in this toilet with no was to dispose of it. I panicked and started rattling the handle like my life depended on it, but no give, or any sign of hope. In a dark moment of desperation, I reached my hands into the toilet, and grabbed my poop, as if it was the only option, quickly rushing to the half bath on the other side of the house. Again, still panicking, I awkwardly helped my hands to my chest, trying to hide the atrocity in my hands. As I was leaving her bedroom and looked to my right, I see her roommate on the couch. I hunch over my hands even more, and her roommate proceeds. I ask me if I'm okay. I quickly reasoned, yep, everything's good, stomach just hurts a little. I still feel so guilty about this, but the water from the toilet was dripping onto their floor as I briskly walked through their house. I made it to the half bath and dropped my own turd back into the new toilet, and then vigorously scrubbed my hands in the sink 3 times before finally flushing it down the damn toilet. I made my way back to the bathroom, full of embarrassment, shame, and guilt, then got into the shower with Hannah. She asked what took so long, and I just made up a lie along the lines of getting distracted playing a game on my phone. The worst part of this whole story is when we got out, Hannah sat down to pee. When I asked, "Oh, isn't that toilet broken?" she responded confused, "No. Sometimes the handle is finicky, so you need to push it a little further than normal." Then she proceeded to flush the toilet first try. No issues, no hiccups, no rattle, nothing. I wanted to crawl into a deep, deep hole and die because it had finally sent, and I just picked up my own shit out of a perfectly fine toilet to carry it to another perfectly fine toilet. Just for future reference, if the handle doesn't work, you can open the lid of the tank and manually pull up on the plunger. It should flush just the same. LOL. LOL. Did you fix the toilet handle? Did you mop her floors? Did you break up with her so you never have to tell her? If you marry her, you will have to tell her this story, or she will find your Reddit one day. People have really forgotten how to not say things. Husband's friend's wildly inappropriate behavior. Hello. I'm moving back to my own city soon where my friends live, but until then I wanted to vent about this because it's been trying my sanity. I'll try to keep the post short and summarize things. Also, all names have been changed for privacy. I, 25, am separating from my husband Cole, 36. We had a friend, Brenda, 37, who I'd always tried to be friendly with, though we didn't have much in common. Cole and Brenda got along better than I did with her, which I accepted, and I always tried to be polite. Well, Cole started venting to Brenda about problems with me. Eventually, she reached out to get my perspective, and we met for coffee. Everything seemed normal and pleasant. She even said she agreed with me and thinks I'm correctly assessing Cole's behavior as wrong. She asked me about some things Cole said about me, including whether I drive badly. I mentioned to her while nervously laughing that I used to scream at bad drivers a long time ago, but that I don't do it anymore and agree that it's not a good practice. Then, at 4 a.m., she sent me a super long and hostile message that was quite insane imo. She felt the need to tell me that my old driving behavior was really weird and inappropriate, accused me of enjoying making other drivers afraid, claiming it was an abusive pattern and what serial killers do. She called me hypocritical for criticizing Cole's driving, and repeatedly implied I was dangerous, sadistic, and morally corrupt. I replied briefly, just clarifying that I didn't take pleasure in scaring people, and that I agreed it was wrong. I basically said I wish her well in life, but that I wasn't comfortable continuing the conversation and that I wouldn't be replying from that point. She sent more messages trying to continue, which I just ignored. When I showed Cole, he said Brenda hadn't really said anything wrong, and that it was me in the wrong, and he continued to talk with her, telling me she was talking about me, but didn't want to show me. I later saw parts of their conversation, and it was, in my opinion, astronomically disrespectful. She called me negative, selfish, a brat, implied that I have borderline personality disorder, said I showed my true colors, and a lot of other extremely disproportionately disrespectful things. She unrelentingly kept trying to convince Cole that I'm a sadist, sending him Google definitions and such. Here are some excerpts. Lauren's presence in my life was really more just me tolerating your badly tempered wife, who barely reached out to me before all of this. I let go of any pretense to be friends with her a long time ago, but for your sake I was still willing to try, but seeing you continue to deny both how much the autism affects her and deny the classic symptoms, all while she paints you to be the villain, whereas she makes excuses for herself, is really hard. I'm sad how you're making excuses for a brat, if I may be so bold. If memory serves, weren't you the one who was just saying how she doesn't need validation for her delusions, she needs them challenged? She was the one to fill her mouth up with words about how wrong is wrong even if Cole is just talking to me loudly because he's upset. I told him not to, so Cole very bad man. But then she is making light of harassing other drivers on the road and laughing at thinking she caused them fear. Cole, I will always be here for you, my friend, but someday, I really hope you use that amazing intellect of yours for something other than making excuses for your wife, like healing for yourself, because it's getting really hard to bear listening to you make excuses for such terrible actions. I can still be a listening ear. I can scoop you up if you need to get out of the house. I can even offer you a place to stay if things get really bad. But please, don't try to put me through the same mental gymnastics I see you going through just to try to enable Lauren's bad behavior anymore. Sad face. I really won't get on that ride. By the way, his defending me, that she keeps referring to as him basically saying stuff along the lines of, yeah, I know her behavior is crazy and unacceptable, sad face. I'm just trying to keep a good attitude about it all. She's definitely not a sadist, though. Thanks for trying to help. In my mind, he should have completely ended the conversation as soon as she started insulting me. For context, I'd never had an argument with Brenda. We had normal friendly interactions. She had even given me a pet cat. So from my perspective, all this hostility is coming basically out of nowhere. I expressed to Cole just how betrayed I felt having her speak about me this way, and he said I was making a big deal out of it, that I just don't understand Latina culture. I am moving into my own apartment soon to get distance and clarity, in my own city near my actual friends, but I am just like? Am I overreacting, or is this behavior completely insane? 'Cause girl, I feel like I'm in crazy town. Thank you. They are cheating with each other. As soon as you are gone, they will be in a relationship. I would put money on it. Not a lot, because I'm broke, but if I had any money, I would put it on the fact they are cheating on you with each other. Sounds like she wants him to see the worst in you so she can swoop in and be his rock and emotional support. They both suck. Good riddance. Consider yourself well rid of both of them.